Now we come on to actually the pinning. The sequin pins that come in your kit can be used to decorate the heart, and you can use them with or without the addition of beads or sequins. I'll show you first the effect of just using pins. Now the space between the pins is important. For example, here the pins are placed almost touching each other and it becomes almost like a straight line. Here I've put them further apart so that it almost makes a pattern in itself. If you place pins in groups, such as this bit here, it looks almost like marquisite, and it's very effective to make small motifs. Now look at the same pin. Here's the pin, and here is a pin with a bead added. See the difference here? So it almost looks like a glass-headed pin, like these that you can buy. But it means if you're using the seed beads with them, it means actually you can make an infinite variety of colours and patterns and shapes. So there and here I've got a seed bead with a sequin as well. So with that you would start off, you put the pin, you then put the seed bead, you then put the sequin, and you then stick that in to wherever you want it. These ones are much bigger. If you're using beads which are deeper than the seed beads, you're probably better off again using the dressmaker's pins rather than the sequin pins. Because of the length there, they'll stick in better if you're like this. The variations you can achieve are really just wonderful. If you want to add a bead or a sequin that's got a larger hole than the head of the pin, for example this one here, can you see its head? It's got a big hole in here. If I put the pin in, you'll find that the pin will simply fall through the hole. Now the way to avoid that is to put a seed bead on first. So the seed bead will go onto the end of the pin. When I put that through that bead, that'll then hold that in place like this, and that can go on again like this. You can find lots of different sorts of pins in the shops these days. You can get glass or plastic headed pins. There are bridal pins, these pearlized bridal pins. They come in all sorts of different shapes and sizes. You can even get pins here with hearts on the end. These ones are actually very long, and you might need to just snip those down unless you're using them into the edge of the pin, into the edge of the heart. Like that, they form a really nice edge here. But if you did try to use them straight down this way, they're going to end up coming out the back of your pin, which obviously you don't want. So I'll show you how to cut those down in a minute. So there's all sorts of different beads that you can find. Of course, the main thing about a pin is that it's got a sharp point on the end of it. The better quality the pin is, the better the points. If you buy fairly cheap pins, you may find the frustration of trying to push them in and they won't go because they've not got a good point on the end. So actually the better quality the pin, the easier it's going to be for you with this project. Now the other thing you may come across is something called a head pin. These are examples of head pins. They're actually used for jewellery making, and they don't have a point on the end. It's because they're meant for making earrings and that sort of thing. But the nice thing about these is that they come in lots of different colours, lots of different finishes. They're not as strong as a normal pin. They will bend like this. So you do need to make your own point on the end of it. They're slightly too long anyway. The way to do this is to get yourself a small pair of pliers or cutters, and then you can just snip this down, and if you cut it at an angle like that, you can then end up making effectively your own pin end, which will, she says, sit in like that. So head pins are great, but you'll need to make your own points onto the end of them. It's great. I mean, pinning, you can make pins into patterns like this which follow the line of your design. This one's got pins all the way around here. This one even, I will do one video on showing you how to put the lettering on, but here you can actually just make whole pictures just using the pins. So that's pinning. It's quite therapeutic, and it becomes actually really addictive. There's a separate video about lettering and words. So find pins, find beads, whatever you want to use, and just have fun with the whole thing.